Hey y'all, Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from my hometown of Waynesville, North Carolina. Now, I spent the last couple days on the road, but I am back home for a few days. As far as, how things are going here at the house, things are going good. We got internet back, we got cell phone back, finally got my basement dry, so we're pretty much back to normal here at my home. But I did want to today kind of check out some of the surrounding towns. Now, a few days ago, I was in Asheville, North Carolina, and what I saw there absolutely just still haunts me to this moment. Just some of the worst things I've ever seen with my own eyes. But I did want to just check some of the local towns surrounding, the Waynesville area, to see how they are faring in regards to the storm, to the floods. A couple places that people in the comment section have been asking me about. I think I was going to start with Maggie Valley. I've featured Maggie Valley in my videos, and a lot of people are curious on what has happened there. So I'm going to drive over there and just get a look at how things are doing, if any of the businesses were affected by the storm. So please follow me. Now, as I enter Maggie, not seeing a lot of apparent damage, but I can see like the road itself has that like coat of mud on it, so you can tell that there was some level of flooding. But so far it looks like most businesses at this end are still open and running, which is good to see. Now, this is the 5-Star Inn. This hotel here, you can see that they have clearly had some flooding. All the doors here opened up. Yeah, it looks like they're taking out appliances, and saw washing machines and dryers being pulled out. Yeah, just stuff being pulled out of the hotel. These rocking chairs, just stuff that got ruined or damaged in the flood. Yeah, you can see how muddy it is over here. Now, here's the stomping ground. This is the dance hall here in Maggie, and it looks like it is being used as an outpost for people affected by the floodings. Yes, there's free water here. There's these stacks of bottled water for people that need them. So you can see the community coming together to help people affected by the flooding. Yeah, it does seem like on this side of the road where the river is, people are more affected. So the Heart of the Valley Motel is closed. And normally this would be the busiest time here in Maggie Valley. This is the middle of tourist season, so this is really devastating to the local economy. This is normally when you'd have people coming into town. October is by far the busiest time here in Western North Carolina. Now, I'd heard someone mentioned that the Maggie Valley Carpet Golf was destroyed in the flood, and it looks like that may not be exactly the case. Obviously, there could be severe damage inside the buildings, and I do want to remind everyone of that just because a building looks okay from the outside does not mean that it is okay. But yeah, the mini golf course, the carpet golf, does look intact. Looks like there's maybe a lot of mud deposited on the golf course here, but looks like they're actually in the process of cleaning that up, and otherwise it looks like everything's still standing. Seems like a very mixed bag on what's going on here in Maggie. Some businesses devastated, shut down, others untouched. Just depends on whatever way the water flows. You can't predict Mother Nature. So I crossed over into Cherokee, North Carolina, and here in the parking lot of Santa's Land, not only does Santa's Land look undamaged, but it actually is open. There's people in there enjoying their day at Santa's Land. Rodeo coaster there. Yeah, it is really good to see Cherokee definitely open for business. The Oconaluftee Islands Park here. I know that this was completely underwater during the floods. This is a park out here on an island in the river. Used to come over here a lot when the kids were little to play in the park here, and does not look like torn up or damaged like the park in Waynesville, my hometown, was. But I do know, yeah, that was all that there was underwater during these floods. But there are people out on the island. It doesn't look like excessively torn up or anything like that. So just interesting, the differences in the areas. Yes, it just depends. A lot of factors go into it. Just the deepness of the water, the force of the water. But yeah, it looks like it always does. It does not look like anything catastrophic has happened. This would have just been a week ago that this was all 100% underwater. Yeah, you can see the ground is a little torn up, but it looks like this is kind of a sandy island, so I think maybe the sand was more conducive to the water than some of the mud in the other areas. You can see this creek is not very deep. Normally, that's one of the reasons I take the kids over here, was they like to play in the creek. Come out here on some days. This creek is just full of people. I drove back to Haywood County, where I live. This is a town that neighbors Waynesville, known as Clyde, a small little town here, and it was hit very badly. You can see still mud over on this side of the road. There is some massive damage here to this tobacco shop, and just for some perspective, like you could see the mud right here. The river is on that side of the road, past those buildings. You can't even see the river from here. So the flooding all the way over on that side of the road, all the way past those houses, comes all the way across here, across the main road, and destroys this building here. Over here in front of the Clyde Fire Department, and you just see this massive pile of junk here. These are just things that have been damaged in the floodings. As you're driving down this road, you can just see a lot of piles like this where buildings have just had to clean everything out. Like this here, you got a pile of doors and wood. And I don't know, honestly, I can't answer the question. I don't know if this all came from inside the fire department itself, or if this is other stuff from other places that have been dumped here. But you can just see the massive pile. And over here in front of the fire department, see all the mud on the ground. These are actually two steel beams from the World Trade Center that were recovered from Ground Zero. Yeah, you can see the mud just come up here onto the beams here. All this stuff is ruined. See signs here, the different churches giving out supplies. That truck there actually pulling big flats of water. Yeah, you definitely see a lot of encouraging things. Members of the community coming together to help distribute items. So they're giving away diapers, formula water, canned and packaged food. Oh wow, this is I don't even know what to say. There's the Sweet Fellowship Church, and you can see it's all stuff that's been torn out of the church. Obviously, most of the interior of the church probably completely destroyed. Yeah, just look at the mounds here that have all had to be pulled out of the church, all this furniture, all these appliances. But notice over here, you can see actually pieces of paneling from the wall have been torn out. And yeah, look down here. This piece of wall paneling actually has a mural of Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark after the flood. Wow. Town Hall of Clyde is filled up. This dumpster. All items from inside. The police department is housed in this building as well. It's that house across the street there. The big pile. It's just literally, these homes, just everything is destroyed inside. They just literally, all they have left is the skeleton of the house to begin to rebuild. I'm gonna drive down here a little closer to the river. I don't know what's open and what's not, but you can see these homes here, just all the stuff that's been pulled out of each house. It's absolutely heart-wrenching to see what these people have lost in the flood. So basically everything in these homes ruined. In some cases the homes themselves, some cases maybe they can pull back together. You see that house missing a wall. Yeah, that's the river. See this shed, it's like a shed turned on its side. Now this entire strip here of stores completely wiped out. So florist shop there. The cabinet shop. I really want everyone to keep these small towns in mind. You hear a lot about Asheville and some of the other communities, and rightfully so. They've absolutely been devastated. But just, don't forget that these people that live in these small towns, like just the entire town here is just wrecked. It is so sad. So many people have lost so much. Just almost the entire town here has been completely devastated. Never seen anything like what has happened here with this hurricane. This apartment building, you can see being cleared out here. Just every bit of wood, every item here was part of someone's life, part of who they were, how they lived, and it has just been turned into just a massive pile of rubble. Yeah, you can just look down this entire road. Every single house just has all the insides pulled out, sitting out in front. This is canine curriculum, dog training, and pet supply. See all the pet supplies ruined here. There's piles of animal food. Oh, and this just has a very foul smell to it. Goldie's hair salon here. You can see beauty items strewn out. Those are the hair dryers back there, those hair drying chairs. Oh man. This is the Old Grouch military surplus store. This has been here forever. Yes, you see the items out front there. Looks like they're cleaning up. And it does say looters will be shot. You know, you think about looting, which is just another problem on top of many, but like things like this, there's a gun store right here. So if this is damaged, if it is abandoned, then, you know, people could help themselves to guns or things like that. Yeah, it's a scary situation. This right here is known by locals as the Big Gun, kind of the iconic spot in Clyde. A lot of people say, you know, the old expression is "I'll meet you by the Big Gun," kind of the meeting point, the point of reference for anything in Clyde. And from Clyde, we're headed over into the next city, which is Canton, North Carolina. And immediately things do not look good. You can see the neighborhoods here. Again, just all these homes completely devastated. Now, Canton was hit very badly during Hurricane Ivan 20 years ago. And yeah, you can see here different stations being set up to help people, giving out water and supplies, which is just so encouraging to see people helping one another. And it's more of the active cleanup going on. See the water line over here. That's a good like 5 feet right there. You see the layers of mud still sitting here. Just piles of debris pushed here by the river. And this is a terrifying sight here. You can see the train up there on the bridge, and you can see how the debris from the flood is stuck there under the train. It's a good thing the train didn't come off the bridge. But you can see there's debris and stuff jammed underneath the train, in between the train and the bridge. Get a little closer look at the train here. Yeah, you can see a bunch of debris gathered here in the corner of the bridge. And there is just, I don't know what I'm smelling. There is just very strange, unusual, unpleasant smells throughout the air. Then like a little miniature sinkhole. Again, when the dirt washes out from underneath the asphalt, it can cause collapses. School here is it's a Christian academy, and just looking down, you can see where the windows have been pushed out by the floodwaters. I don't know what this is. Looks like it could be some sort of almost like a water slide or a bridge or some part of a swimming pool. Here's Bear Waters Brewing, this brewery down here by the river. And this building, smaller building, like an outbuilding here, turned completely upside down on its roof. Oh, you can see that vintage gas pump. Oh, there's like, yeah, really bad smells. I'm sure a lot of it is just the stagnant mud sitting around now for like a week. But man, it is a very foul smell down here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you can see how the water of the flood just pushed everything into that corner. This crossing light here, torn out of the ground. You can see these houses here just hollowed out from the waters. This was a building here. This is a knife store, and just been completely collapsed. You see inside these buildings, just nothing left. See how thick that mud is. This is a pediatric office. And I do want to say Canton is a town that has been through a lot of hardship. As I mentioned, they were devastated 20 years ago. Seems like yesterday to me, but 20 years ago when Hurricane Ivan came through, they had a lot of damage. That doesn't even compare to what happened with this storm with Helene. But just last year, I don't know if you could see it over there, but the primary industry here in Canton was they had a local paper mill that employed a large number of people. Last year, that paper mill closed. It was absolutely devastating for the people that live here, for the people that grew up here. The paper mill was their primary source of income. That shut down last year, and you have, now a year later, they're hit with this absolutely devastating flood that just doesn't even. This is off the scales, apocalyptic, biblical flood has crushed these businesses that may have already been struggling to hang on. So don't forget about these small towns like this. It's easy to think of the more populous areas, and there's enough sorrow to go around. The people of Asheville were totally devastated, but that devastation is spread throughout the country. I was going to say throughout Western North Carolina, but really this hurricane has affected people all the way from Florida, all the way up to here in Western North Carolina. With this, I've never seen. I've lived in this area since 2000. 2000 I moved here, so 24 years, I guess. And I have never seen anything like this in this area. I've never seen anything this heartbreaking and this devastating. It's very, very heartbreaking. And this upper part of Main Street here in Canton seems to have fared quite a bit better than the lower ground, but it's these businesses are still closed for the most part. They do not allow vehicular traffic in this area. I actually walked in. So, while these businesses may not be completely obliterated like the ones on lower ground, they are still suffering. The whole town is suffering. And with these videos, I am hoping I kind of putting it out there what's going on here in Western North Carolina. This has been my home my entire adult life, and these places that I frequent, places that I have been going to for the past 24 years, just seeing them in this condition is really heartbreaking. So I hope I can give you guys some look into what is happening here in the mountains of North Carolina. Remember, small towns like Clyde, like Canton, like Maggie Valley, um, devastated, just devastated by this. Um, and there's cities that I have not uh, shown here. Hendersonville. I've heard from people who live there. Things are really bad there. You don't hear a lot about that in the news. I haven't heard a lot. I haven't heard a lot about Canton in the news until I went there today myself. So keep in mind, there's a lot of people suffering. A lot of people from this area. This area that is already stricken with poverty. With socioeconomic problems, and then this on top is just absolutely devastating. And unfortunately, for our country at whole, with things like this, there's grim, grim things on on the horizon. There's another hurricane uh, in the Gulf of Mexico as I speak that is going to be headed east into Florida, into Tampa, and into Central Florida. And it is apparently one of the strongest hurricanes ever recorded. This here in the mountains, we were hit by the most devastating hurricane, tropical storm, whatever you want to call it. We were hit by um, the most devastating storm um, in that this area has ever faced in recorded history, and my heart goes out to all the people of Florida for what is going to happen. Fingers crossed, obviously, that damage is minimized, but just thinking realistically, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. Yeah, just back to back. Florida was also hit by Helene, um, and now they're getting hit again, and just the two of these historic hurricanes just back to back like this, it is absolutely heartbreaking. You guys know that Florida is one of my favorite places. The Central Florida is kind of like almost like a home away from home for me. I go down there a couple times a year, and yeah, I'm hoping, first and foremost, just hoping that everyone is safe, everyone gets out safely, that the loss of life is minimized, that obviously property damage is minimized. A lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff there in Central Florida on the Tampa Bay and things like that. And yeah, my heart aches. My heart goes out to those people. Um, that being said, I did want to talk about a few other things, um, especially regarding my video that I put out regarding the Asheville storms. And There was a apparently I stepped in it. I don't know. Maybe I did not do my due diligence. Maybe I should not have suggested a charity without doing more. I don't know, research, feeling the room. A lot of people were apparently upset that I suggested the Red Cross. Now I suggested the Red Cross just because that's what I had always heard. The Red Cross is kind of the standard, you know, organization that goes in, helps people. A lot of people expressed disapproval for the Red Cross. Just a lot of people. And I don't know. I've done a little bit of research since then. I'm not really picking up on what exactly upset people so much about the Red Cross. And again, I'm not disputing. I'm not here to defend the Red Cross. I'm not here to dispute anything. I'm not saying one way or the other. And then I did take a suggestion. A lot of people were suggesting an alternate charity. I pinned a comment, stating that other people were recommending that charity. And then I found out there was issues with that charity, that charity may have done some things questionable as well. At this point, I'm not going to recommend a particular charity. If you do want to give, I have given to a charity, but I don't. I just feel like I don't. I guess I don't need to throw that out there. Just when you are donating to a charity, just make sure. I guess what you want to do is you want to make sure that's a charity that represents your personal values. That's a charity that does with their money what you envision that money being used for. I know there was a lot of comments about charities not giving the money directly to people and things like that. And that may be true. There may be issues with that. But it is important just to keep in mind, just to keep in the back of your head that charities do need money to operate, that, they have to pay people, you give them money. They can't just take that money and hand it directly to the people. There's in between people that need to be paid. The people that work for the charity, that is their job. In order to do that, they do need to be paid a wage. You do need to pay management to operate a charity. It's a charity, but at the same time, it has to operate, and it takes money to operate any sort of organization, whether it is for profit or not for profit. That said, charities do deserve a very high level of scrutiny, considering that they do operate on donations. A lot of people left comments saying don't donate to FEMA, and let me just put out there, I think a lot of people may be misinformed or misunderstand. FEMA is not a charity. FEMA is a government agency that is paid for by tax dollars. FEMA does not accept donations of any kind. FEMA is not a charity. And I know a lot of people have bad things to say about FEMA. I'm not FEMA's lawyer. I'm not going to defend them. I just, at a personal level, I have heard, I had someone that I know that was affected by the storm, and FEMA gave them, the storm had destroyed their septic tank, and FEMA had given them the money very quickly, very effectively, come in and helped them with that. So FEMA does help people. Again, if there's instances that they deserve scrutiny, then they deserve it. But my personal anecdote that I heard shows that they do help people. I mean, that's their job. They're a government agency. Their job is to come in disasters like this and help people. And it is fair to question, government responses, fair to hold people accountable. The people in charge should be judged by how they handle crises like that. That's why we have a government. That's why we have federal government. That's why we have state government. These people are supposed to help when there is problems like this. Of course, they're paid by our tax dollars. So, there's also issues. Are these agencies funded like they should be? And I'm going down a whole rabbit hole here, but I'm just trying to say, it's really easy to repeat things you hear on the internet and to be critical and to be judgmental, but you also need to you need to take in like what the reality of the situation. And the thing is that these things are very complicated. Um, Also, there was just a lot of really obviously political comments and really hateful comments, which just really disappointed me. And I don't want to. I'm not wagging my finger at anyone in particular. In fact, if your comment's still there, then then I didn't have a problem with it. I do try to read all the comments. I did delete comments that were overly political or overly hateful. And when I say political, I don't even necessarily mean like I left comments where people were giving their thoughtful opinions. But, when people were being hateful, I had people blaming, throwing blame around in a very hateful way, blaming, they were blaming, like, there's a lot of stuff about people, like blaming illegal immigrants somehow for a hurricane, which I just, whatever your opinion on things like that are as far as immigration and whatnot, that's your own opinion. I just, when you're looking at people that have lost everything, when you're looking at people that have lost their lives, I just feel like it's maybe time to have a little empathy and not time to spread hate, if that makes sense. Um and then that's when it's one thing on this channel, like if I can put anything out there, it's just to be kind to one another, be thoughtful, be empathetic towards each other. um a lot of misinformation. One thing is, like, this video I did in Asheville, it got a lot of views. It got way more views than one of my videos normally gets. So it got a lot of comments, and a lot of comments were misinformation, conspiracy theories, things like that. People saying that the storm was man-made or things like that, which obviously are not. It's just simply not true. And I hope the vast majority of people understand that. So I don't know where I'm going with this. I just it upset me. It upset me a little bit that I saw so much hate in the comments, and it's just, I don't know. I just feel like it's the time for empathy. It's not the time for hate. And what I'm seeing out in these towns, I'm not seeing hate when in these towns. I'm seeing communities pulling together, communities helping each other. It's really kind of touching, seeing like people giving their time, people working to help each other. It's incredible, like how some of these communities are pulling together. And Asheville will come back. Canton will be back. Clyde will be back. These communities will come back. The people of the mountains here, the mountain people, these are people that traditionally don't ask for a lot of help. These are people that do things on their own, that pull together as a community to accomplish things. And that's exactly what I'm seeing. And they're gonna pull out of this. They're gonna pull out of this. And these communities are gonna be changed forever. But a hurricane isn't going to destroy what makes these communities strong. And I apologize here if I've gone on for too long or I've gotten emotional. Please, if you take anything away from this video, just please be kind, because you don't know. You don't know tomorrow what's going to be gone, tomorrow what's not going to be there. We don't get to decide how long we get to be here on this earth, and things can disappear, things can change overnight, literally overnight, and maybe never be the same again. So keep that in mind. Be kind to one another, and take care of yourselves and be safe. And again, my thoughts go out to the people of Florida for what is coming their way. I appreciate you guys so much. I hope I've helped you take a look at this area of the country and how it's been affected by these horrible storms. But take care of yourselves. And for now, this one's in the bag.